The program Nimasa this week is designed to bring you up to date on the ongoing activities that are taking place at the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. It includes, of course, the activities of the Director General, Dr. Bashir Jamu, and perhaps visitors who have come to see the work that he is doing. This week's edition, as usual, is well packaged, well packed, and will intrigue you. Please stay with us. My name is Eugenia Abu. Thank you for joining us.
Any vessel operating coastal voyage in Nigeria must mandatorily have on board the following: vessel logbook, vessel port of call, vessel particulars, which include registry certificates, safety equipment certificates such as safe manning certificates, builder certificates, load line certificates, tonnage certificates, radio certificate, insurance certificates, classification certificates, passenger ship safety certificates, service certificates, cargo ship certificates, and waiver certificates or receipts. Vessel owners, captains, shipping agents, and members of the public are advised to note and comply.
The Nimasa DG, Dr. Bashir Jamu, OFR, was part of the delegation of the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, that received in audience a delegation from Denmark. Their aim is to strengthen Nigerian-Denmark cooperation on maritime security and blue economy.
We started the Deep Blue project in 2018. And we completed the project in 2020, whereby we collected all the platforms. We have two special mission vessels with dynamic positioning features. It has a long endurance. It can stay for more than half a month at the high sea with a satellite collecting data and sending it to what we call CPOI. CPOI means Command, Control, Communications, Computer, Intelligence System.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, in collaboration with Maritime Technology Cooperation Center Africa, MTCC Africa, hosted a regional workshop on test biofouling in Nigeria with the theme, The Place of Technologies in the Management of Marine Biofouling. Delegates from 7 countries converged in Lagos for the workshop. The Director General Nimasa, Dr. Bashir Jamu OFR, while declaring the workshop open, said that this workshop is part of Nimasa's effort to explore newest technologies in managing biofouling and keeping to regulations as stipulated by the IMO.
It's given me a great pleasure to stand before you this morning to deliver the keynote address at the workshop on transfer of environmentally sound technology test biofouling project for partnering countries. I specifically delay the appreciation of the member countries that are here before us today to tell you that the world is a global village. We are all together and we must remain together. And I have a quote by Jacques, which he says, "The sea, the great unifier, is a man's only hope. Now as never before, the old phrase has a literal meaning. We are all in the same boat."
The workshop educated participants on technological solutions towards minimizing the impact of invasive species in Nigerian waters. Implementation of the IMO biofouling guidelines were also discussed at the workshop. Nigeria's alternate permanent representative at the IMO, Mr. Abdul Dirisu, and the Secretary General of Abuja MOU, Captain Sunday Umoren, were also on hand to deliver goodwill messages.
I am confident that at the end of the 3-day brainstorming participants will better understand the current measures in place and the opportunities in the areas of innovative technologies to ensure the management of marine biofouling.
I'm happy the DG has taken this step to secure your buy-in into this aspect of preservation of our environment. Biofouling, which is a major bedrock of secured blue economy. Every aspect that has to do with water, be it in water ballast, the biofouling and others, they require attention and respect. So Nigeria and the region cannot be left behind, as I must say, that everybody must be carried along, and thus all hands must be on deck.
Distinguished guests, the major focus of this program is to address the problem of biofouling on ships in order to combat the spread of invasive alien species across marine ecosystems, and also to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, which is very, very important. Greenhouse gas emissions is a very topical issue now, and Nigeria is actually taking a forefront position because the DG believes that that issue needs to be addressed and addressed frontally.
Nigeria has been a very active member of IMO, has contributed significantly to IMO's policy development process. I'm really hoping that Nigeria would follow the same path when it comes to the biofouling guidelines. I've just heard from the Director General, Nigeria is implementing those guidelines, so we thank you very much.
Hence, the theme of this workshop, which is the place of technologies in the management of marine biofouling, is viewed with excitement and interest by the Naval Dockyard Limited.
As we embark on this educational endeavor together, I encourage each of you to actively participate, share your experiences, and strengthen networks with all participants during the workshop.
MTCC came to Nigeria in 2017, and ever since then, Nimasa, as the focal point of the MCCC, has been doing quite a lot in ensuring that the mandate of the MCCC is carried out to the letter.
Biofouling, or biological fouling, is the accumulation of microorganisms, plants, algae, or small animals where it is not wanted on surfaces such as ship and submarine hulls. Biofouling poses risks to a wide variety of objects, such as boat hulls and equipment, medical device and membranes, as well as to entire industries, such as paper manufacturing, food processing, underwater construction, and desalination plants. The buildup of biofouling on marine vessels poses a significant problem. In some instances, the whole structure and propulsion systems can be damaged. The accumulation of biofoulers on hulls can decrease speed of the vessel by up to 10%, which can require up to a 40% increase in fuel to compensate. This increased fuel usage due to biofouling contributes to adverse environmental effects.
Our next clip is going to be showing you a special report on the Nimasa laboratory. That Nimasa laboratory is mostly going to be looking at marine environment management. And why not? We all know, as researchers have told us, that over 80% of the sea is still uncharted. That laboratory comes handy for understanding, researching, and gaining more knowledge about our underwaters.
To effectively manage the marine environment in Nigeria, in line with international conventions and acceptable global best practices, Nimasa, under the Dr. Jamo-led management, established a fully functional laboratory where chemical, biological, and microbial testing can be conducted. The Nimasa laboratory, located at the Nigerian Maritime Resource Development Center in Kirikiri, is the latest addition to Nimasa facilities to ensure all gaps identified during the IMO IMSAS audit are closed.
Marine Pollution Laboratory of Nimasa was established based on the Merchant Shipping Marine Environment Management Regulation 2012. This gave the framework for the establishment of the laboratory. The stakeholders can make use of this laboratory first by informing the lab that they want to carry out certain analysis. The lab staff will go out with them for the sample collection, keeping in mind that accuracy of results starts from the sampling, and so we want to be involved in the appropriate collection of samples, and then before we bring it to the lab, do the analysis, and then results being given to them. In the laboratory, we carry out tests like chemical, biological, and in all these, we look at the organic and the inorganic parameters analysis that will now infer our result, looking at it with comparing it with the International Maritime Organization standards. The laboratory is in conformity with International Maritime Organization conventions. The conventions MAPOL 7378, the anti-fouling system AFS, the OPRC, that's oil pollution preparedness, the Hong Kong wreck remover and the scrapping of vessels, that's ship recycling. Then most importantly, the Ballast Water Management Convention. These are the conventions that the lab takes care of. They are instruments that we use in working, thereby making sure that these activities, like in the case of the ballast water management, the invasive that come with this ballast water, they are part of what, and they are sediments. These are part of what we test in the lab to see what kind of invasives are in those water, and then to know if it's safe for discharge into the marine environment. As a lady running the lab has a way of being feminine also. You know, having field work, analysis, having also, you know, training and retraining. Day-to-day running of the lab involves the purchase of all these consumables, reagents, and various items needed for it. And then also looking at the health, safety of all the activities that take place in the lab to avoid accidents or incidents. We are so grateful to have the management that is of so much important support to us. In all these various activities, they've been so good, and they have even went ahead, you know, to purchase newer, sophisticated equipment for us that we are very grateful, that have made running of the lab easier.
This is the new equipment procured by the management, which is atomic absorption spectrophotometer, which is used for analysis of heavy metals. Heavy metals, as we all know, they are a priority for polluters because of their high toxicity, tendency to bioaccumulate. In addition to that, the agency also procured a water quality monitoring equipment here, which can be used to assess and monitor the environmental quality of the marine environment.
Only recently, the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, commissioned the Seafarers Center. Needless to say that the importance of seafarers to the marine industry cannot be overemphasized. Here's that clip.
The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, CON, has commissioned the Nigerian Seafarers Center in Lagos. He expressed delight and said it would support the social, psychological, and emotional needs of seafarers in Nigeria.
I was highly elated when I received the report of the commissioning of the Seafarers Center by the Nigerian Port Authority. My joy is rooted in the realization that this purpose-built facility designed to provide vital social, psychological, and emotional support to the crewmen and women who drive global trade in and out of Nigeria. You can rest assured of my unflinching support to the implementation of such initiatives. Before I conclude, let me remind all stakeholders that the sustainability of investment such as this rests heavily on how well we're able to maintain them. I hope that the importance of this facility will not be lost.
The Director Special Duties Nimasa, Mr. Ezekiel Sangbi, who represented Nimasa DG, Dr. Bashiru Jamu, noted that seafarers are pivotal to the survival of the Nigeria's maritime sector, hence the need to have such befitting facility. He pledged Nimasa's commitment to the seafarers' well-being.
We continue to be part of anything that will benefit seafarers and make them comfortable when they come into the country. So on behalf of the DG Nimasa, Dr. Bashiru Yusuf Jamu, we're glad to be associated with this, and we hope to be put to good use. Every seafarer everywhere in the world is welcome to Nigerian hospitality.
Other stakeholders also commented on the development.
The commissioning is a grand event. However, the significance is that this space gives a new face to foreigners coming into Nigeria.
The seafarers have been taken out into a facility like this. The first impression is what is or what to see. And so when they look at this building, as beautiful as it is, it gives them that calmness. And then they'll go in there, look at the facilities they have. They have table tennis, they have billiards, and the rest. So there are a lot of games for them to play, television room for them to play with. So it's more of a relaxation place.
So it's important that while they're away, they have sort of place where they can truly relax and feel comfortable, and places where they can explore the country.
Crew management, ship management, and security are all very important to the marine industry. A man who has spent 21 years of his life, in fact, over 21 years of his life, working in this area is Mr. Emmanuel Megua, the CEO of BRICS. And the CEO of BRICS tells us a little bit more about these areas in the maritime industry in a special interview.
The digitalization of seafarers' discharge book is a welcome development in the sense that it gives the port state control officers the ease of administration in carrying out the inspection in respect to verifying the qualification of seafarers on board Nigerian ships. It also aids the process of administering the seafarers' documentation and gives it quality. You find it very interesting to know that maritime nations, full flags, usually have MOU between themselves, where seafarers of one flag will be allowed to work on the vessels of another flag. If you have the difficulty of verifying seafarers' documentation as a result of the absence of security features on those seafarers' documentation, then you are giving your partner whom you have signed the MOU difficulty in verifying your certificate. But digitalizing it enables you to actually start a journey into having an e-seafarers discharge book. So this is improving quality of our seafarers certificate. The well-being of seafarers in Nigeria, I think we should look at it from first understanding who is a seafarer and who employs the seafarer. So if you are looking at the condition of service for seafarers, for me, I believe it starts from those who employ the seafarers. Seafarers are private workers, they are not public workers. And every investor or ship operator desire to have his ship operated in a high quality manner by employing competent crew. So while the Maritime Administration cannot focus on developing or implementing the Maritime Labour Conventions, which deals with certain welfares of the seafarers, it's provide only minimum measures. I always say that we can do better by making sure that companies who operate ships are profitable in a way that they will exceed those standards that has been set up in the MLC. The MLC set a minimum standard for seafarers, but the main driver of seafarers' welfare in Nigeria will ultimately have to be the ship owner. So in essence, what I'm saying is that ship owners, while the Maritime Administration can do a little to ensure the implementation of the MLC 2006, the ship owners must come together to look into the welfare of seafarers as a priority. And for you to have competent seafarers, you must attract them with the best condition of service. For you to be able to do that, you must also have a viable market to be able to trade. It's one thing to own a ship, it's completely a different thing to trade and to trade profitably. However, I can identify some of the steps that the agency has taken which are very positive. And one of them, I would say, is looking in first, because if you have an organization with a mandate, you would want to look into the structure and the welfare of the manpower of the agency, Nimasa, and how well motivated are they. I think in that aspect, we have seen, I think, an annual promotion of manpower in Nimasa, which is a welcome development, something we are not used to seeing in this industry. Kudos to the Maritime Administration for actually getting us to this point. It is a welcome development.
Introducing the Nimasa Distress Response Call Lines for all maritime stakeholders, ship owners, seafarers, ship captains. Whatever your challenge or distress in the Nigerian maritime domain, please call 0803 0685 167, 0708 0005 956, 0700 0700 010. If you can't reach us on these lines, please call 0700 0700 020, 0700 0700 030. Also via VHF Radio Channel 16. Call and Nimasa will respond.
It's outside their normal pattern of behavior.
You have been watching Nimasa this week, the voice of maritime. This program is designed to bring you a lot of information for stakeholders, to bring you best practices for those in the industry, and to bring information to those who know very little about the maritime industry. I hope you have enjoyed listening to it as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. I am Eugenia Abu on behalf of all those who have been working behind the scene. We'll see you again next week.